So talk about the feeling now being back here in Toronto and really able to bear down and focus on the season ahead.
Yeah, it's nice to be back in our bubble, but we are just working on some final details. We had another game behind our belt in this last weekend against the Costa Rican team. So again, more scenarios that we can look at, that we can again continue to progress in terms of our system and our movement, both on the defensive side and on the attacking side. And so this week is about tightening things up, making sure we're physically prepared and mentally prepared as we go into opening weekend, which we're very excited about.
So much has been made about teams that are successful and having an identity. Does this team have an identity yet?
Yeah, I think we have a clear indication of where we're headed and what we're doing. I still think that our relationships on the field are going to be developing for a while. We have a lot of very good players, and them just connecting to each other and what spaces they need to be in to help each other and what decisions are going to be made. And I think things are going to be constantly developing. We don't have to be at Z today, but we need to be moving towards Z by the key moments of the season. So I think our relationships are definitely developing, and who we are as a team is evolving day to day, and we're there.
With a player like Benoit Cheyroux, you could see in preseason that this is someone that you guys are going to be relying on heavily. He will balance out that midfield core, but is this more than you anticipated with getting from him?
Well, we knew he was a very good player, and the idea was to create some balance with Michael in midfield. We have obviously a left-footed player, right-footed player, experience from both of them. Very savvy players and who can read the game and understand the game, guys who cover a fair amount of ground. And both of them in their own right can make plays and make things happen. And the idea too is to open up space for Sebastian to do his thing. And Jonathan Osorio, I think over the past year and even coming into this year, is proving that he has playmaking ability, and when he gets into the pockets and he's able to turn and face forward and combine with people, he's also very good. So it's a nice balance of guys, and again, for us is just to continue to develop the relationships and make sure that they share the spaces and they're not in each other's space, and that they move the ball quickly, and if they do, they're going to be very difficult to play against.
So, Justin Morrow and Benoit had a bit of a knock on Saturday. Looked like they were full participants in training today. They look good to go on Saturday?
Yeah, they're fine. They were all in today. It was a little bit of a toe incident there for Benoit, and Justin just was a little bit of an aggravation of something he had before, but both of them were in 100% today and should be fine.
You made fitness and conditioning such a major priority at the end of last season. Now with preseason almost over, how far along is the team in meeting those expectations?
I think we're in a good place. I think we have a good foundation. I think the guys are ready for 90 minutes. Most of them played 90 minutes in the last game, which is something we needed to do. Fitness in terms of sharpness and really tight movement stuff will kind of come as real game fitness as a couple more games get under their belt. But we're in a great place physically. We've got through the preseason healthy, which is extraordinary in my view, and everybody is 100% ready to go, and that to me is a really good start.
In working in the academy now, of seeing it like now transitioning to head coaching, so dealing with some of these same younger guys who you've seen come in into the academy, is there any change? I mean, is in how you treat them or in your role, or is it still just teaching at the end of the day?
There's still an element of teaching, but to me there's more of performance and preparation and making sure that week in and week out we're in a position to play our best and to perform at our best, not just collectively but individually. And in the academy you have some time, right? Time is on your side because players don't have to be exactly ready every single day. They're about a projection that is 2, 3, 5 years down the road, and so it's not about necessarily every weekend's performance, because sometimes you exchange performance for learning. But for this, where results is the name of the game, the key is that they're ready to perform every single weekend, and that's just a little bit of a different approach. But in terms of getting everybody on the same page, there is some, I don't know if it was so much teaching as it is making sure that we all see things the same way.
Is there anything special you do going out to the West Coast with the time difference to get your players more adjusted? Is there any specific things that you want to implement on the road for situations like this?
The good thing is in our league we leave an extra day early to get over to the West Coast. For us, we travel early and we get to where we're going as early as possible. That way we have a little time in the hotel and guys can rest, and then we'll get out and do some form of a session that will allow them to sweat and clear their mind from the travel. And then the next day it is kind of business as usual. I think if when you play night games, it's not that big of a deal. I think if you play an early game, then the early can seem really early. But for us, that's more for guys coming actually west to east coast. But I think for us, it is sticking to our protocol, sticking to our program as best we can, and just preparing for each game the same way as best we can. Obviously, there's some times where it doesn't work, but routine is always a good thing for us.